Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Welcome to the Grow Tent, everybody. You have found the best growing channel on YouTube, man. The place where we simplify the approach for you so everyone can learn how to grow. We make it so simple, even I can understand. So I'm going to listen and learn right now.
What's up, everybody? All right, welcome back. We got a great episode for you today, but first, as always, we got to do the intro first. But today, we're going to be talking about the different kinds of water. You're like, different kinds of water? There's water. No, you're wrong. We're going to be talking about the different kinds of water that you can give to your plants and the pros and cons to each one of them and why you might want to pick one versus the other. But first, the intro, everyone's favorite part. Guys, right now, as you know, Mars Hydro sponsors the channel. We did a video drop on it on Friday and a little commercial on there. But from here on out, if you use the code WTTGT in all capital letters, it might work whenever in lowercase, but I know it works when you're in capital. If you just turn your caps locks on, type in WTTGT, it'll work just fine. But that'll get you some money off. You can save. You help old GT out because that is an affiliate code. And right now they got 18% off site-wide, and then you throw my code, will stack on top of it. If you want to grow with the same kind of equipment GT grows with, you see me using RO machines, ppm, pH pins, grow books, equipment guides, garden trackers, any of that kind of stuff you can find at welcometo-thegrowtent.com. My Patreon, as you know, YouTube doesn't allow my YouTube channel to be monetized. So if you want to help GT out or support the channel in any way possible, the link to my Patreon is always in the video description below. We got tiers that range from $1 to, sky's the limit, but provides you with the direct access link to me, GT. And guys, as always, remember, if you want to listen to this part, you can always just skip forward in the video. The scene will change, so just go back to where the new scene starts. If you could like, comment, and subscribe to this video or this channel, the channel, that would help out a ton also. If you feel like you gotta give a thumbs down, I understand. Just want you to know it does still help the channel out. Not as much as a thumbs up. The only way you can actually hurt channels for all you haters out there. I know there's some of you out there, but teach you a little something here. The thumbs up and thumbs down doesn't hurt the channel. The thumbs up helps a lot. The thumbs down helps a little bit. The only thing you can do to hurt the channel is to click on the video and then leave, and then click on the video and then leave. So whenever you're doing that, where you start it and then immediately leave and then start it and immediately leave, that actually will hurt the channel and the algorithm some. I'm a teacher, not just with the C word, but with everything. So if you want to hurt the channel, just click on the video and leave it. Click on the video and leave it. Click on the video and leave it. That shows that we're having short watch times. Okay, so that we're done with that. But for the people that don't want to hurt the channel, if you could watch the full video, that would help me out a ton. What else we got? Oh, I got another channel where I deal with tarantulas and ball pythons. GT usually jumps overboard on everything that he does. My wife likes to say I don't have a half throttle. It's either full throttle or nothing. And over the past 2 months, I have spent about $20,000 on ball pythons. And if you'd like to see my journey with them, and I got a bunch of tarantulas now too, you can find it on my channel, which will be linked in the video description below, Exotic Tarantulas with GT. And that'll soon be changing probably the name to, I don't know, Spartan Pythons is what I'm thinking. What do you guys think? You guys like that? I like it. And it kind of goes with this channel over here with the Spartan stuff. But if you'd like to see that, please subscribe to my Exotic Tarantulas with GT channel, and you can watch me try and make some really cool baby snakes. I like to breed plants, so I guess I'm going to start breeding pythons too. All right, that's enough. Let's get today's episode started. We're talking about, there's primarily the 4 types of water. Let's get going. All right, guys, welcome to the episode. Whether you watch the full intro or you just skip forward, you're like, oh, GT, it's not the same thing every single episode. Hey, man, there's some people that these are their very first times watching the channel, and they haven't seen that episode yet. And a lot of new people, whenever they find a channel, a lot of them don't go back through the old videos. Whenever there's this thing that whenever you find a YouTube channel, it's like it doesn't exist before you join it. So you only watch the new stuff because you think the old videos are old information. So that's why I do the intro every single video. All right, guys. So we've made it through the intro. Let's talk about, there's primarily 4 different types of water that home growers are going to use in their garden. We're not talking facilities, that have their own watering filtration, their own watering system. We're talking about home growers here and the kinds of water that you're generally going to deal with whenever you're working your home garden. So your four primary types is number one is the tap. Number two is spring water, just bottled regular spring water. You've got distilled water, and then you have RO machines. So these are the four kinds of waters that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons of each one because they all do have pros and cons, some more than others. So the first is what we're going to talk about is tap water. And with tap water, if this works, it's going to be fantastic for you. But it won't work for some people. Some of the pros of tap water is it's free. Well, I mean, you pay for your water that comes in, but for the most part, it's free water. Okay, it doesn't cost that much. You get it right out of the tap at any sink or faucet anywhere around your house, and it works just fine. There's a couple caveats to this. The ppm that this water comes out can range wildly. Like here at my house, the ppm of the water that comes out is around 450 ppm, which is too much, so I don't use my tap water, or I can't use my tap water the way it sits. So I actually have to do a process to it to get some of that stuff out of there. Now, if your tap water that comes out of your faucet is anywhere in the 50 to 200 range, I got good news for you. You can use that just fine because most of that ppm that's in there is calcium and magnesium, which if you look at your nutrient bottles, it's one called CalMag. That's pretty much what it is. So if you're in anywhere in that range, your water is good to go. And everybody's like, well, what about if your pH is off with your water? Well, you're going to add stuff to it anyway, so you're going to be changing the pH after you add the stuff anyway. So what the pH is not really that much of a concern because you're going to adjust it after you put all your stuff in anyway. Got it? And as long as it's between 5.0 and 7.0, who cares? You can adjust it more or less, but you don't have to. So all of that is fantastic with tap water if you can use it. But if you can't use it, if you have a ppm range, I've seen people's ppm range is in 11 and 1200, and if it's that high, or I saw somebody just talked to me the other day, it was 2000 out of their well. They had well water and it was 1950 ppm. I said, yeah, don't use that. You're already starting with 2000 ppm that you're going to be putting in your plant every single time, so don't do that. So that was tap water. Next up is what we got next here. I got my notes here, so if I'm looking down, just checking. Because it's early in the morning on Saturday here, and I'm just not functioning yet. So we got spring water next, which is just bottled water. Now, I actually do use this whenever I am in like the solo cup stage, if I don't only have a couple plants, or if I am in the cubes. If I'm in the cubes, I usually just use a bottle of water because this bottle of water will do all 50 of the cubes, and it's the perfect amount for the first time. Or the second time I only use half, and then the next time I use the other half. So I will actually use this because it's pretty handy. It's just it's a measured amount, and I know exactly how much to give it, and it works really well. But if you were going to use spring water with big plants, I mean, you got more money than me because that's a lot. Because you're gonna have to use a lot of spring water, and bottled water it's the most expensive of all the options is to use spring water like bottled water. Actually, I better take that label off there. But she used bottled water like this that you get from the store. There's probably some cheaper ways you can do it, but it's still going to cost you money, even in the big like 5-gallon things. It's still going to cost you money, and you're going to be constantly going to the store. So that's another downside to it. Is you're going to look like a freaking crazy person, or you're going to look like a super healthy person. Like, man, look how much water this guy's drinking. I want to be like that guy. But that's probably not what they're going to think. But you're going to have to constantly go to the store to get it. Whereas tap water is right at your house, but it might not work for you. Whereas this generally has around 50 to 80 ppms in it, which makes it perfect for building a nutrient profile whenever you're going to water, because it doesn't have too many and it doesn't have zero either, which is also bad if you're going to just give them straight water. You don't want to give them water because then it'll start pulling stuff out of the plant to balance out the soil, because it'd be like you were flushing it every time you watered your plants. Okay, so that is spring water. All right, my next is distilled. So here is a big thing of distilled water. This is actually the only size of the distilled water they had at the store. I actually went and bought these just for this video, and I bought another big thing of spring water that was like this, but my wife thought it was old water and used it to water the plants. Well, her plants, her house plants, her fern in the kitchen. But this is distilled water. Distilled is another great option whenever you don't have a high plant count or anything like that, and you don't have an RO machine, and your tap water's too high. This is a really good option because this only has ppms usually in the around the 10 to 30, maybe 40 on the high end sometimes, but generally around 30 ppms in the water. And you will look like the weirdo at the store buying tons of water all the time. Eventually, you're going to get sick of making these trips to the store to pick up this distilled water. Okay, and a lot of times what I find with the distilled water is the pH is crazy high. At least it is on this brand, whatever the heck it is. Whenever I've had to use it. Before I had a machine, an RO machine, which we're going to talk about in a second. But you're going to, the cost is, they're not super expensive, but I'm telling you, whenever you're buying 10 or 12 of these 2 times a week, and you have to drive to the store and you're filling up your car with these things and then going back and forth, it gets to be a pain in the. And eventually in the long run, this does cost you more money than the RO machine is going to end up costing you. But it does work. It does work really, really well. And whenever I first started off, this is what I used. I used distilled water because, as I told you, my tap water is about 450 ppms, so I don't use it because it's just starting off with too much junk in it, and I was having problems. So I switched over to distilled, but going to the store twice a week, as I said, putting 12 or 15 of these in my cart and trucking them back and forth 30, let's just say 20 to 30 bucks a week, get really old really fast. And it's not too bad if you don't have a lot of plants, like you only had 4 plants or something like that. It wouldn't be too bad. But in my state, I'm allowed to have 18. So having 18 plants and trying to keep them watered with these was a pain in the butt. So will it work? Absolutely. It's probably the best. If you don't have tap and your choice is spring or the distilled is probably your best bet. Up next is the RO machine. You can see it right here. That is the RO machine. That is probably, if you're taking this seriously and your tap water isn't going to work, why am I holding this? If you don't want to buy these and transport these all the time, because in the long run, the RO machine is cost up front, and these are cost in the long run. These ones you are going to end up paying more money. And depending on how many plants, it could be over just a month or 2, you'll pay more money with these than the RO machine costs you. You can find a decent RO machine for, $100, $150. The nice part about the RO machine is it hooks right up to your faucet or your sink, and you can keep it right by your grow room. And I actually have tubing that runs to my drain in the basement or your sump pump, and then your other one runs into your clean bucket. The RO machine, the ppms come out at 0, so it's completely ready for you to build your nutrient profile to where you want it. You will know exactly what your plants have in them. There's no guesswork. It takes all that stuff out of there. And even if your well water is at 1950 ppms, when it comes out of the RO machine, it'll be somewhere in the neighborhood of 0 to 30 ppms at the highest usually. So you can use the water. No more trips to the store. No more carrying these gallons up and down the stairs, mainly down the stairs. When you're coming back up, they're empty. But there's no more trips to the store. There's no more loading these things in and out of the car and carrying them all into the basement. You're done with that. There's no more, oh crap, I didn't water this plant. Now I got to run to the store to get water because I don't have any. You can just turn on your faucet, get a fresh 5-gallon bucket of RO water, and build your nutrient profile the way you want. If you don't know how to do that, you should join my Patreon. I can show you how. No, I'm just kidding. You can send me an email, and if I see it, I promise you I'll answer it. Now, I might not see it because I'm silly SOB who puts his email up on the internet like this. And as you can imagine, with anybody that puts their email on the internet, I get a lot of emails, usually around 1,000 every single day. And if I don't get to you, if it's been a day or two, just send me another email because it's buried 2,000 or 3,000 emails deep. And, I just happen to miss it. I check my email probably 4 or 5 times a day, but as you can imagine, like you send me an email at 9 o'clock and I don't check it till 11:30, it might be 400 or 500 emails buried. So I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I will get to you. Just if you don't hear from me in 2 or 3 days, send me another email. I promise I'm gonna get back to you, and I'll get you straightened out as much as I can. Just like if you were wanting to order merch like tent slaps or shirts or anything like that, send me a message on my email, which is right here again, and I will get you taken care of. Guys, I hope you had a fantastic time with the episode today. I did. I actually went to the store to bought props for it, and I'll see you next time.